The threat of cyber warfare is no longer a storyline from the movies. It's real, and it's impacting the lives of average citizens every day. If not stopped, it has the potential to cause great harm to our society.
Thanks to cloud computing, open source software, free online training, war-enabling technologies are now easily and freely available to the masses. Whether it's a terrorist organization or a nation state that's highly sanctioned, they've got access to a variety of tools, including cyber weapons. As a result of this, any criminal organization with basic level skills can now inflict a tremendous amount of economic damage, whether it's extortion through ransomware or something more grave and more significant from the national security standpoint. The natural evolution in cyber warfare is criminals going after extortion to, if you look at what's happening in Russia and Ukraine, 750 companies have taken a stance and withdrawn from the Russian economy. So for those 750 global brands, all of their suppliers, all of their distributors, they are suddenly in the middle of a war. And this is not something that we'd ever really seen before. One of the misconceptions that we have about cybersecurity and hackers is that they wear hoodies and use 0 days to compromise your environment. And that's just not true. Attackers don't have to hack in like that. Often they log in with valid user IDs and passwords that they found from somewhere else. And it's being able to validly log in so that an attacker looks like one of your employees, and then they start to poke around and understand the environment, conduct reconnaissance, and then figure out how they're going to plan and execute their attack. That's why, despite tons of money being spent in making sure you're compliant, or that you've spent all this money on security tools, organizations are still getting hacked because the human, the passwords around the human, the behavior of those humans tend to be the weakest link and the easiest to exploit.
There is hope in the fight against cyber warfare. By learning how to think like the enemy and becoming defensive, organizations can position themselves to evade a cyber attack.
One of the things you can't do is learn how to deal with crisis in the middle of the crisis. You have to build a muscle memory ahead of time. You want to actually have real attacks against you so you can build that instant response. Just because you're vulnerable doesn't mean an attacker can actually exploit you. One of the things that we've done as an industry is use the strategy of defense in depth. And what defense in depth really means is you've got multiple layers of security. So this idea of defense in depth looks fantastic in PowerPoint, but the reality is these are usually built of 10, 20, 30 completely different security vendors, none of whom are designed to work together, none of whom are motivated to work together, oftentimes because they compete in different ways. So what we have as an industry is this problem of lots of spending on defensive tools, but not a whole lot of effectiveness. And so a lot of these tools that have been around for 20 years that help tell you these are potential weaknesses in your environment tend to be full of noise. It'll tell you you've got 100,000 problems, maybe 5 or 10 are real issues. And so companies end up spending a ridiculous amount of time sifting through all of that noise to find the specific problems that truly matter.
Horizon3.ai has cracked the code on how to leverage the power of AI to deliver autonomous pen testing capabilities that help customers quickly find, fix, and verify the correction of critical security weaknesses.
There are 3 key parts to the product and technology that we built. The first one was anybody, whether it's a 9-year-old kid, an IT administrator, or network engineer, in 3 clicks should have the power of a 20-year pen testing expert. And that was really important to the user experience of the product. Anybody in 3 clicks can run a pen test against their organization. The alternative was to hire a bunch of consultants that showed up maybe in a few months. The second key part of our design is next best actions, reinforcement learning, and other machine learning techniques that allow our algorithms to decide the most effective ways to take over your environment. The third part of the design is once we've taken over your environment 1, 2, 5, or 50 different ways, how do we make it very easy for the people responsible for actually fixing these problems to clearly understand what's the issue, why is it important, what was the exact attack path that the attacker took to get there, and what do I do to fix it? At Horizon 3, we've been in your shoes. We've been CIOs, we've been IT administrators, network engineers. A third of us came from the special operations community where we have the op tempo and the experience to actually fight against these nation-state adversaries. Our job is to take that collective intelligence and that experience and help you fix problems that truly matter.
To learn more, visit us online at horizon3.ai.